Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Hi everybody, Tobias here, and got a knife I want to show you. I've actually shown this knife in the past. This is the Rough Ryder RR 2007 wood-handled Bowie knife. Not a very dramatic name for it, but I bought it several years ago. It is currently out of stock at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, but I think it is still available at a few other places. And it's a relatively large Bowie knife. But the reason I bought it is because I thought when I bought it, it was a copy of the old Colt Alamo Bowie, which, let me show you the picture of it here. The Colt CT 410. You can see it right down here. And I actually owned the Colt CT 410 a while ago, and gave it to a friend. It was a going away present to a friend that I had. I gave him the knife, and afterwards it's like, well, I'll just buy another one later. And well, later ended up being Colt goes bankrupt, and the knife was not around anymore, so I could not find it. But then this showed up in the Rough Ryder line a little bit after Colt went bankrupt. It's like, okay, well, same knife, I'll go ahead and pick it up. And I noticed even at the time when I was picking it up, it's like, well, same knife, except it doesn't have the little star in the cross guard, and it obviously did not have the same sheath. I knew it did not have the same sheath. I looked at it and it's like, dang, they kind of cheaped out on the sheath. But then it was a cheaper knife, or lower priced knife, I should say. But let's get it out of the sheath. It's very tight in the sheath also, and it's one of those sheaths that have that going on. I'm really tempted to change this, make it into some kind of dangler sheath or something, as long as I got it like it is. The other sheath had a more proper belt loop on it, and if Rough Ryder brings this back, decides to make it again, make a better sheath for it. This one is nowhere near as good as the one that was on the Colt knife, and the Colt knife was $24.99. This was $19.99, and the first time I got it in hand, it's like, this doesn't feel right. It just, the handle felt a little thinner. The cross guard I knew was definitely thinner. Everything about it just seemed a little bit off. And well, now I know why everything seemed a little bit off, and it's because it's not the same dimensions as the Colt Alamo Bowie. The Colt Alamo Bowie was, let me see it right here and here. It actually says, if you can read it there, 12 7/8 inches long. 12 7/8 inches long. Well, this comes in at 14.5 inches long, so a little over an inch longer than the Colt Bowie. This has a 9 1/4 inch blade, or 9 1/8 inch blade, and the Colt Bowie only had an 8 inch blade. And I figured that all out when I managed to finally snag the Colt Bowie. But now this is not the exact same one, but this is the Colt Alamo Bowie limited edition one. I don't remember the number. I don't think it was CT 410. I think it was might have been 411, 412. I don't know. Colt had some really weird numbering systems going on too, but you can see the difference in sheath here, and you can also see the difference in knife. The one thing I thought on this knife was that the blade was not as thick as the Colt. Well, I actually took calipers and I measured it at the spine, or right at the center of the blade, right where the clip begins, and the knife blade is actually the same thickness. Both knives have the same thickness of blades, but you can see here the difference in it. So this looks like a slimmer blade, mainly because it's a longer blade. But you can also see that the guards, maybe you can, maybe you can't. If you look at the guard there, this is a much thicker guard than the other one, and the handle is also well, this one is stag. I do not know if the wood handle is a little thinner or not, but considering this wood matches into this guard, and this guard is the old guard that was on there, you can see that the handle is fatter and reaches out to the guard. So the handle was definitely more substantial on the Colt Bowie than it is on the Rough Rider Bowie knife. The Rough Rider one still has 3 wood segments, but they're larger wood segments than what would have been on the Colt. Now this one has 4 segments of stag instead. The Alamo Bowie in wood had 3 segments similar to this, so it looked very much like this knife, but I guess you could say the little brother to this knife when it comes to length and such, but little brother that was a little stockier than this one. Still, this is a pretty good knife. Both of them were made in Pakistan. The difference is the Rough Rider clearly shows it here. Rough Rider 2007 Pakistan, whereas the Colt knives, and I love it, people are like, well, the Colt knives are so good and all this other stuff. Well, the Colt knives, they did not specify what kind of steel was being used in it, and if you look very closely right here, you might be able to see where it says Pakistan and very little letters, and this one does not have any kind of marking on it for what the model number was. Otherwise I'd be able to tell you, but it does have the Colt logo on there, and it does have the brass guard with the stars, so that's pretty cool. So I did manage to get a replacement for my old Colt Alamo Bowie, but I got it in stag now, and if I recall correctly, the Alamo Bowie, as you can see here, was $24.99. The stag version was either $5 or $10 more, so probably somewhere in the $30 to $35 range for the stag one. The big difference between these two knives, though, is really the quality of the sheath. This has a much heavier sheath, a heavier grade of leather, a much better grade of leather too. It feels so much nicer. It had the added throat going around here with the leather accent, with the crosses there, and then you have the extra piece of leather sewn on the top here. This one says Colt limited edition because this is the one in stag, and the knife also fits the sheath better than the Rough Rider fits its own sheath. So that was really the difference between these two knives, and really happy to finally get this one back into the collection. And I'm glad that my friend still has the original one that I gave him, so that's pretty cool too. Really a wicked looking clip on this thing too. Nice wedge, nice blade. Most likely this is a 420 steel. I don't know what Colt actually used. It is full tang. You can kind of tell from the way the blade goes through the guard that it is full tang. So that's a good thing too. And I believe this one is also full tang, and it's also really well made. Again, probably 420. I don't think it was 440A. In any case, this is the one that you're easily going to come across for the $20 to $24 range. These are now going into the $60 and up. I did not have to pay that much for it. I managed to snag it on a great deal because somebody on eBay was selling it at a bidding price, and I got it maybe $10 more than what I would have cost originally, so I'm pretty happy with it. It was definitely a dirty, filthy knife when I pick it up, but it cleaned up really nice. In any case, there's the Colt Alamo Bowie, and what Rough Rider calls the wooden Bowie, which is really the knockoff of the Colt Alamo Bowie. Only it's a big brother to it. and not a bad knife after all. But still kind of a crappy sheath. Any case, I'll let you go. Stick around for some side-by-side comparison photos of that.
Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Bias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.